Thank you, Joe, for the fantastic introduction. Last year, I participated in this event as a spectator, and this year I am on the stage, so I'm super happy to be here. As you know, I'm going to talk about growing your business and ultimately your MRR by hiring a team of part-time freelancers. This is quite different than the, let's say, usual approach. Normally, companies hire full-time employees, and these are different way of running a business with a different dynamic. And in the past few years, in the past 6 years exactly, I hired and also fired a few people to build my team of 8 people now. So I want to share what I learned and the process that we are using exactly to do that. So let's start with the why. Why hiring is good for you? Well, I can show this to you with a picture. This is me before hiring. I was going crazy. If you probably noticed that websites are becoming more and more critical. And if you do care plans like I do, you see that everything is becoming more complex. For example, the florist here in my family town that I'm visiting now, last year they had a horrible website, just the address and a few pictures of flowers. Now they have an e-commerce. Now they are selling and doing delivery online. So it's not only that the websites are becoming more complex, they're also becoming more and more critical. So if you do care plan by yourself, it's very demanding. You probably know that customers are becoming more and more demanding. And I have a specific episode in my life. I was in Myanmar, a country that is not famous for the internet connection, among other things. And one morning I received an email from a customer with the website was hacked. And I was there with a very unstable internet connection trying to fix this website. And that was the moment where I realized, okay, if I want to have a normal life, let alone a decent life, I need to hire people. I need to have people that can help me. And a very frequent question is when it's time to hire. I start myself alone. I was a freelancer. And when I reached this point where I felt I was overwhelmed, I realized that was time to hire. But probably the best time to hire is as soon as possible. If you are not strongly against hiring people for some reason, like if you don't want to you love work on your own, if you are not the type of person, and if you are following this presentation, probably you are not the type of person, then the right time to hire is as soon as possible. Because building a team, it's complex. I'm not going to hide that. There are many things to learn along the way. First is to find the right people. You need to attract them. You need to select them. Then you need to learn how to delegate the work to them. And for me, it was something completely new. And then you have to learn how to retain them, avoid that they leave you and they go somewhere else. Who do you need? So who are the right people to hire for your business? So there is this great quote that I read in this book, Virtual Freedom by Chris Ducker. The quote is, hire by role, not by task. It took a while for me to understand, but it turned out to be a really great lesson. We all have things that we don't like to do. Probably you don't like to do administration. Maybe you don't like to do social media, and maybe you don't like to update websites, for example. So it's very easy to think, okay, I need someone that can do these things for me. I need to hire someone that takes care of all the things that I don't want to do anymore. Well, this turned out to be not the right approach, because you might find someone that is a bit of a jack of all trades that can do all these things, but is not specialized in any of these. So the best approach is definitely hire by role. So I suggest you to start creating your organization chart. At the beginning, it's very funny because it's probably yourself wearing different hats in different roles of your company. But this will help you understand what are the roles that you need to cover. And in my case, it was quite clear that I want someone that does WordPress support. I had to look for someone that can cover the role of WordPress support expert. And this was very useful also to understand that someone that does WordPress support is not necessarily a WordPress developer, because the skills can be different. Someone that does support needs to communicate with customers, needs to keep them happy. There is a different set of skills. And then when you find who you need, nowadays you can get experts by the hours. You can have that person that does administration for 5 hours a month, another person that does social media, and another that does WordPress support. So you can have different freelancers that are specialized to cover different roles. And another big lesson that I learned is delegate what you know. I mean, at least start delegating what you know. At the beginning, I started delegating I want to delegate the marketing part because I'm not a marketer myself. And I had this idea, if I hire a marketer, my business will grow because this person will sell things instead of me. And but I didn't know how to evaluate a marketer. I didn't know how to measure what the marketer does. So that turned out to be quite difficult and honestly quite of a disaster. It's much easier if you start delegating what you know. Again, was finding someone that does WordPress support. I can understand if the person is good or if it's not good. I can so we talk the same language. I can help this person explain the work. I can understand if the results are good or not. It's much, much simpler to start delegating what you know. And by the way, by doing that, you will free some time that you can use to learn about marketing and learn about the other things up to a certain level where you feel confident to delegate that part. Now, how to hire? Well, I can tell you the first thing you will need is a job ad. And my first advice is create a work with us page. It's very important. It works to generate contacts. But the most important thing is to treat the job ad as a sales page, because it is a sales page. You are selling your company. I often see job ads that are just a long list of requirements. We need someone that knows this, and that, can do this, and that. But there is nothing about advantages of working with that company. So normally a sales page, there is the description of the problem that is solved, the advantages, the social proof. So you can use the same structure to build your work with us page. And don't think that because you are small, maybe you are just a freelancer yourself or you're just started, don't think that there are no advantages working with you. So I found in time, I found that we provide quite some advantages. The first one is that I can pay on time because I have an MRR. I know that I can guess more or less how much I will get next month. So, and the service is paid in advance. Why should I let my freelancers wait? I can pay them on time. For them, this is a huge plus because they used to wait maybe weeks or months before getting some invoice paid sometimes. They love to work in a team. Also, one thing that freelancers really love is that they don't need to sell because we sell to customers. We handle all the payments and invoicing. They just have to do their job. And if they love their job, that's for them, it's a big plus. Now I'm going to share our process, the process that we follow to hire people. So first, okay, there is a job ad, as I say, treat it as a sales page. Then the people can apply. And already in the first form, there are some technical questions. Now I'm talking about hiring someone for technical support. This is, let's say, my example. The second step is a technical test. So we don't waste time. We want to check how good is the candidate. And since we are evaluating technical people, there is a technical test. We give a WordPress site with a few problems, and we send a Google form explaining 6 things to fix. And this is a timed test. So we track time of the time spent because we don't only want someone that is good technically, but also that is, it's the right amount of time to fix things. Because if someone takes 20 minutes or 3 hours, it makes a big difference in how much it costs us at the end of the month. The third step, it's a chat with our team leader. Our team leader is the most senior person in the team, the more advanced guy. And he's going to do a chat. Sometimes it can be Telegram, can be Skype, whatever. And why a chat? Well, because we normally work our way of communicating is by email with customers, through tickets, and via chat in Slack. So we want to evaluate how someone is good in communicating in a written form. So a chat for us is the right way. And then only as a first step, there is a call with the founder, that is me, to check if the person is a good fit, discuss details about the collaboration, payments, etc. So I used to have this step number 4 as a step number 2, but I found that I tended to like people, and when I like someone, Then even if the test is not that good, I'm like, okay, guys, but I think this guy, and that was not correct. I should not interfere. The process should be first technical evaluation, and then only at the end I should step in to check the rest. So I moved that as a step number 4. And step number 5, when someone is actually hired and everything is agreed, there is a phase of onboarding where we ask the person to sign an NDA, that's a non-disclosure agreement, to make sure that they commit not to disclose the information that they learn and everything about our customers. Then we share docs and we share processes. And we have a checklist that every new hire has to go through, where we teach about the tools that we use, the procedures, etc. So now, how to pay these freelancers? I did quite some experiments in these years. There are 2 options basically. There is option 1 is pay a fixed amount per month. For a freelancer, it's very nice to have a fixed monthly income. It's a bit like building their MRR. For me, it's a peace of mind, because I know that if I pay someone, let's say 4 hours a day, I know that this person will be available for 4 hours a day. So I don't have to worry, okay, if there are requests, who is available? I know that there is someone available. It's also a fixed expense for us. So there are pros and cons. If I compare with the hourly basis is less risky for me, in the sense that if a month is very slow, like August, everyone was on holidays here in Italy. So we got less tickets and less requests. If you pay someone by the hour, you will pay less. But I noticed that there is a bit less engagement from people, because they are just treated as they are paid as much as they work. So it's a bit less engagement. And for hourly basis, but actually for everyone, we use a time tracking tool that is called Clockify, that is understand statistics, or how much time we spend per customer, and also how much is the workload on the team members. Well, what I found out that the most advanced people, say most senior freelancers I work with, they prefer to be paid hourly basis. I am surprised, because I was expecting that people prefer to have a fixed amount, but this what turned out to be, it was a lesson for me. So I would suggest, if you start, go for a fixed amount per month, but don't be surprised if someone would say, oh, I prefer to be paid by the hour. There is something that is right or wrong. And as I said before, as part of the contract, we ask everyone to sign a non-disclosure agreement. It's a very simple document. You can find templates online. It's just a way to commit to don't disclose what information about our customers and everything that it goes inside our. Now, how to retain the people? So you find a great freelancer, you are working well with this person, with this team of people. How do you make sure that they don't leave you? So here I have some tips to share. The first thing is that you have to build some good dynamics. The first one is that you have to give them enough work. And again, there is nothing wrong in starting giving 1, maybe 2 hours a day, to have someone that answers customers' inquiries and does some updates on this website. There is nothing wrong, but it works much better if you give someone 3-4 hours per day, because then you are taking a substantial part of their time. So they are much more engaged with your company. And if they just work 1 hour per day, and maybe they get some bigger project, maybe you're going to be the client that they will fire, because they don't have time anymore for that single hour per day. But 3-4 hours, it's a great amount of time. Then you have to give trust to people. Call me crazy, but when someone joins in our team, we immediately share all the access to our system, to our archives, and also to the websites. They need access to work. And I think this is the right approach. Treat people, giving them, trusting them. And be transparent. This is something that I'm a big believer of transparency, and I suggest to have this approach with your collaborators. Something that worked well for us is to give bonus. I want to give a fair bonus to my collaborators. I know it may sound a bit strange because they are freelancers, so they are not really entitled to bonuses. But at the same time, if we are having an ongoing collaboration, I also treat them a bit like, they're part of the team. They are almost employees for me. So I want to give them a fair bonus, avoiding, when I say fair, I mean, I don't have to think every 3 months, oh, I like this guy, I want to give him more. The other one, discussion the other day, so I want to give him less. I want a system that was as much as possible automated. And I'm quite proud, actually, of this algorithm that I come up with. So I can tell you how we build this. Of course, everyone is free to find the best way to do that. First, we take into account the quarterly revenue. At the beginning, I was very excited about companies doing profit sharing. I know some startups do profit sharing. That seems something very great, but the more I looked into that, the less I found it appealing. And mainly because as a solo founder, I want to have the complete freedom to dispose of the profit as I want. So if I want to hire a new person, I don't want to feel like, oh, I'm taking the money from the profit that I should give to my team. So I decided to tie the bonus to the revenue instead. We share 2% of the revenue. Of course, this is completely up to everyone find out how to do that. So I have also the extra pressure that I need to make sure that whatever I do, 2% is to be saved for the bonuses. And the algorithm also takes into account the amount of hours that the person worked with us. So it's more about contribution than about performance. That's the way I want to do it. I don't want to make it tied to tickets closed or happiness ratings, things like that, just the amount of hour works. Then the third parameter is the role in the team. We have junior, we have senior, we have a team leader. So depending on that, there is a different weight in the algorithm. And then the years in the team. The longer you work in the team, and the more you get a bigger slice of the bonus, let's say. So every quarter, my guys receive a few €100 of bonus. That's something that they really appreciate, and they really feel they are part of something. If the company grows, they also feel benefits from it. And then a special word about training people directly from Richard Branson. Train people well enough so they can leave, but treat them well enough so they don't want to. So I really think the good freelancers are often too busy to spend time with training, or they get a lot of work, especially if they work with websites and with WordPress. So they don't feel like they should train. But if you organize these things with the team, like as a company, it's very interesting. Last year we did a personalized training on customer care, and everyone learned a few, let's say, communication techniques to deal with a customer when a customer is angry or when there is a problem. So, and this makes everyone more confident in dealing with this situation. And it was, I found, very useful. We also did a course on WooCommerce troubleshooting. So after Friday after work, we were joining all together these videos to go through them together and discuss them. So it's nice. It's also something like a team activity that brings people more closer. But of course, they're freelancers, so they get knowledge, and also they get like certificates and things that they can also use for their other customers. And the way I arrange with them, I tell them, this is no problem. You want to use the certificate on your website? That's okay. But I ask them to contribute in a part with the cost of the training. And I found that fair. They are not against that. So I don't know, a training that can be €300. First, if I buy for a team of people, I probably can negotiate a lower price, and then I can ask them like $50 to participate. And this is not only because they can then reuse the certificate on their website, but also because nobody follows free trainings, right? I mean, when you put some money, you are definitely more committed into follow the training, as well as the peer pressure from the rest of the team that push people to the exams or whatever is at the end of the trainings. So train people. Don't be afraid that they will leave you. It's something you really appreciate. And then the last part, the important part about retaining people is the company culture. This is something I'm still working on, but the most important thing I feel like sharing with you is that you already have a company culture. So you don't really have to write the mission and the vision and create a document that explain your company culture. If you are just start hiring someone, or if you have a small team, you already have a company culture. It's probably your culture. So keep in mind, whatever you do with your collaborators, but also with the customer, how you treat them, that's something that it's that your collaborators see, your team see how you behave, and they kind of absorb your values. And good people wants to work with people that think the same and they that have shared values. So always think about this, that whatever you do, you are creating, you're building company culture. A couple of years ago, I did a bad hire. I hired a friend of mine, and you can see where the problem started. Don't hire your friends unless you are very sure of what you do. This guy turned out to be not a good fit. We use Slack as a office. Can sound ridiculous, but Slack is actually our office. And this person was sending very long and messy messages, and the whole vibe in the team went really down, and people kind of stopped interacting, and they kind of cornered him because it was just not the right fit, that different values. So at the time I felt like, okay, there is our culture, and I understand that this person is not fitting in. So you already have a company culture. Grazie, as we say in Italy, and I hope you picked up at least a couple of tips and suggestions for your next hire and how to plan your team. You can find me at Daniele Besana, or by email daniele@wpok.it. And as a last slide, I put together a few resources that I mentioned in this presentation: the Virtual Freedom book, the timer for Google Form, time tracker, checklist tool. If you like this presentation, you probably want to check the templates at slidecarnival.com and photographs and stuff. This concludes my presentation. Enjoy the rest of the day. Bye.
Daniele Besana, everybody. Daniele, great talk. I think really important, the topic of how to hire part-time freelancers. I think it's a great way to scale into doing website management better, and it's a great alternative to necessarily having to hire a lot of full-time people immediately. So cool. Let's go into our first short break of today. We'll be back shortly with a talk by Suraj Sodha about how his retainer business ate his whole agency business. So stay tuned.